In this video, we're going to review the order of operations. We sometimes hear the mnemonic device PEMDAS. It stands for Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally, or at least that's a way that we can remember what it stands for. The P in please stands for the parentheses, or another way to say it is our grouping symbols. Excuse, the E stands for the word exponent. So we do our exponents after we do our parentheses or our grouping symbols. My dear is all one person. That stands for multiplying and dividing from left to right. And Aunt Sally, again, is all one person, and that's addition and subtraction as we move from left to right. So the order of operations, I always kind of call mine GEMDAS instead of PEMDAS because it's grouping symbols. Any form of grouping symbols. It can be parentheses, it can be brackets, it can be a long fraction bar, but our grouping symbols we do first. Once we have all of our grouping symbols done, then we move on to our exponents. Then we do multiplication and division, whichever comes first as we go from left to right. And then the very last thing that we do is we do our addition and our subtraction, and again from left to right. We don't have to multiply before we divide, and we don't have to add before we subtract. Depends on which one comes first in our problem from left to right. So let's try a few of these. You have these same problems in your notes. So when we look at our problem here, we have multiplication, subtraction, multiplication. And if we think about our PEMDAS or our GEMDAS, remembering these are there's actually 4 levels to our order of operations. We don't have any parentheses and we don't have any exponents. So we're going to do our multiplication division as our next level. So we have multiplication there and a multiplication there. So we do the 6 times 5, which makes 30, and the 4 times 2, which makes 8. And then we take 30 and subtract 8, which makes 22. Let's take a look at another one. And if we look at our PEMDAS, and again, we don't have any parentheses, we don't have any exponents. So our third level is multiplying and dividing, and we have an 8 times 3. So the rest of the problem we leave the same. So it's 4 plus our 8 times 3 is 24. And then we work our way. We're done with our multiplying and dividing. All we have left is addition and subtraction. We start on the left and we move to the right. So 4 plus 24 makes 28. Minus 9 makes 19. All right, let's try a couple more. This time, this is a different form of our grouping symbols. And I said I always do mine as a GEMDAS instead of PEMDAS. And the reason is it's not just parentheses. This up here is a grouping symbol. So we have, that's like having a parentheses. If it helps you, write the parentheses in. So we do everything on the top, and then we divide it by the 4. So 8 times 5 makes 40 on the top, and we divide that by 4, which makes 10. And our last one, this time we don't have any grouping symbols, but we do have an exponent. So we're going to do that exponent first. So we do 2 times 3 squared means 3 times itself. So 3 times 3 makes 9, plus 8 divided by 2. All right, so if we look at our grouping symbols, our exponents, we've done both of those. Now we're ready for multiplying and dividing. We started at the left and we move it to the right. So we have a multiplying here and a dividing here. So 2 times 9 makes 18, and 8 divided by 2 makes 4. And then our last is we're going to do our addition and subtraction, and 18 plus 4 makes 22. Now that you've finished these, you need to finish your assignment by going into Angel and answering the 4 or 5 questions that go with it in the assessment.